Welcome to Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff. This is the place to come for news you can use to get things done. Everybody knows that too much stuff is clutter, and cleaning it makes you neater and tidier. To us, it is a life management tool that helps you navigate your next steps. This is what my book, Lighten Up, Free Yourself from Clutter, is all about. As baby boomers, we have a lot in front of us that is confounding and confronting, so we sweep things under the carpet and put them off another day or forever. That is clutter because it keeps us stuck, and my new book addresses all of that. So we're going to bring experts, authors, and authorities here to talk with us about health, relationships, technology, finance, housing. What are you going to do next in life? Passing down your life stories, and even the challenges of making final arrangements. Here we aim to learn, open new possibilities, choose, take action, and create a legacy, not a mess. So let's get started. I'm here today with Kelsey Perry, Director of Public Relations for Road Scholar. That's ROAD, Road Scholar, a world leader in educational travel for boomers and beyond, as they say. Road Scholar was founded in 1976 as Elder Hostel, and for the last 50 years, the organization has served more than 6 million lifelong learners in 150 countries and all 50 states. Interestingly, it's a nonprofit company, and Kelsey is here to talk about its educational programming around the world. So welcome, Kelsey.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're speaking to us from Rhode Island, is that right?
Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island. That's where I live.
Okay, well, that's a good place to start to go anywhere around the world. As I mentioned in the intro, Road Scholar was founded in 1975 as Elder Hostel. Can you tell us about the evolution of Elder Hostel to Road Scholar and what the organization is all about today? Fill us in.
Absolutely. So, as you said, Road Scholar was founded almost 50 years ago. So we're celebrating our 50th anniversary next year, which is really exciting. And we were founded as Elder Hostel. And the format when we first were founded was a little bit different. It was taking older adults to college campuses, and they would stay in the dorms, and they would take classes in the lecture halls, and they would eat in the dining hall, that kind of thing. So it was more like a back to campus type experience for older adults who were interested in lifelong learning. And we've evolved over the last 50 years to be more of an educational travel organization. So we're no longer staying in dorms, we're staying in hotels, and you might be learning from an academic professor, but you're more likely learning for them out in the field, out in the places that you're learning about, and things like that. So we, and then also we changed our name in 2010 to reflect that evolution, and the way that people felt about being called elders was also played into that decision making.
Yeah.
In 2010, we changed our name to Road Scholar to really just better reflect the organization and what we are today.
But you're not always on the road. Are you on the road sometimes and in ships and planes? Where does Road Scholar go?
Exactly. So we have programs in almost all 50 states, in almost 100 countries, all 7 continents. We have programs by land, programs by ship. We have a private plane program that travels by private plane. You're right. So we have just about any mode we have train treks. So just about any kind, mode of transportation. We have cycling programs. We have walking, hiking. So any kind of mode of transportation you can think of, we probably have some kind of related program. So you're out there on the road, but, in more of a universal way than, physically necessarily being on a road. So
what's trending in the world of educational travel? Where are the places?
What's trending?
Yeah.
That people are going? Well, I would say generally what's really popular with us, walking and hiking programs in national parks specifically. People really are interested in national parks. We have a lot more domestic programming than a lot of commercial tour operators because we're a nonprofit, and typically domestic programs are not super profitable, but we're a nonprofit, so we don't have to worry about that. So we have a lot of programs in the U.S. We think it's really important to, there's so much to learn about right here in the U.S. So our national parks programs are really popular in the U.S. as well as our signature city programs, which will take you to, Great American City, and you'll stay there for 6 days, 5 nights, and really delve into that city. You'll be at one hotel the whole time. You get to know the history, the culture, the food, the neighborhoods of that specific city. So we have those all over the country. So that's kind of in the US. And then as far as internationally, we select a campus of the year every year. And this year it's Costa Rica for us. And so we pick that based on lots of different things, but popularity is definitely one of those things. So Costa Rica is always a really popular destination for us. So that's our campus of the year this year.
And when you go, do you go? So you said it might be city centered. So you stay in a hotel, and then every day for the 6 days you do something different in that city. And then what about when you go to Costa Rica? Do you go around the country, or do you stay on a resort?
So there's different. Right. There's the programs that are more centered in one place, and you kind of go out from one hotel. And then there's programs like, I believe, most of the Costa Rica ones, you're staying at maybe 2 or 3 hotels, and you're going to see kind of different parts of the country, getting some different experiences. So yeah, a lot of the programs, you'll kind of travel around by charter bus and go to different places and stay in different hotels.
How many people are usually on your excursions?
Yeah, we're kind of trending. That's sort of a trend for us, is we're trending towards most of our programs are getting to be small group at this point. And for us, small group is max of 24 to 28. Almost all of our international programs at this point are small group. That's something that I think also was affected by COVID and people not wanting to be in large groups anymore. That's something that we've seen. So that's, I would say is our average is around those small groups.
Yeah, it really breaks up the notion of I imagine these big, huge buses driving, 60 people at a time through, dragging them through the streets. But this is a much more intimate experience. I guess you really get to know the people on your trip.
Definitely. And another thing, comparing to that, what you think of as like a big tour bus with a bunch of people, all of our programs have listening devices, or most of them do, especially the city programs. And so what that means is you have earbuds, and then you have a listening device around your neck, and your group leader or your instructor that's taking you around whatever you're seeing, whatever you're learning about, will be speaking through a microphone. So you don't have like a tour guide who's got a big group and they're shouting in a city center and, nobody can hear them. So this way, everyone can hear it right in their ears. You can kind of wander a little bit from the group and still be able to hear, and you don't have to feel like you're this big, tour group that's walking through a city. So that's also kind of cool.
How many trips a year on average do people take? Do you have like once a year, one-time visitors or participants, or do people make a lifestyle of traveling from place to place?
Yeah, definitely. I would say probably, if I had to guess, on average, people are taking 1 or 2 trips with us a year, and then also doing some other travels, maybe independently or to see family. But I also will say that is another thing that's changed since the pandemic is I think a lot of people are making up for lost time. So we're seeing more people who are taking more trips, whether they had money saved that they didn't use that year, or they've just kind of had this realization that, hey, travel can be stolen away from you at any time for any reason. And so there's just sort of this sense of, don't waste any time and get out there and see the world. So I've definitely noticed people taking more trips, since coming out of the pandemic. And yeah, we definitely have people who take 1 trip every month with us.
Really?
So I've definitely seen, oh yeah, wow. I've seen it. We have people that have been on, over 100 programs with us. I know a woman, I think she's at 247, I want to say right now, 247 trips with us.
She could sublet her house and...
Might as well.
You could use it instead of housing. Just keep going on trips. That would be fun.
Exactly.
That's a way to go. So, what is the most exotic trip that you've got? Let's talk from the most local to the most exotic. Take me on a mental tour.
We've got like Machu Picchu and Easter Islands. We have Antarctica. I actually got to go to Antarctica with Rhodes Scholar, which is amazing.
That's on my bucket list, as a matter of fact. How
you
was
need
that?
to go. It was incredible. It was not don't let the cold scare you for sure, because when I was there, it was like in the 30s. It was like, I'm from Wisconsin, so to me, it's like, don't pass up a trip to Antarctica just because you're afraid of the colds. Exactly. It was just incredible. It feels like you're on another planet, just being in a place that's not habitated by people and where the animals don't see people as predators and they'll just walk right past you. It's really incredible. Yeah. The penguins will just kind of, they're not afraid of you because we're not predators there. So they'll just they just look at you and walk past. And
what are you doing here?
It's just amazing. Yeah, it's very, very cool. So I would highly, highly recommend Antarctica. What else? I mean, we have trips in all continents. We have safari programs in Africa. We have Mekong River programs in Asia. We have, oh goodness, I mean, pretty much anywhere you want to go, we probably have a trip.
Of how much I need to budget for. I guess there's a variety of different budgets.
There's such a range for our program, so I can give you some generalizations, but we have 4-day programs in the U.S. We have 4-month programs around the world. So there's really
4 months at a time.
4 months, yeah.
Where are you going for 4 months? I want to hear this.
We have World Academy programs that are by ship, and it's sort of like you've maybe heard of like a semester at sea kind of thing. So you're on a ship for 4 months and you're going around kind of all over the world and stopping in a bunch of different ports. So it's and we have 6-week programs that are living and learning, where you go to a city and you stay in an apartment and you take language courses during the day, but you kind of just live like a local citizen during the rest of your time.
What is that called? Where you learn the languages?
They're called living and learning programs. So we have them like in Sevilla, in Provence, mostly European cities, mostly French and Spanish, and Italian. You go and set you up with an apartment in a great location that's in the city center. So you have access to everything in the city, and you take language courses with the group during the day, and then you'll go on kind of field trips on the weekend out into the countryside with your group. But you're kind of just there immersing yourself in the culture and living like a local. So those are really cool. Yeah, so as far as how much they cost, I would say the programs in the US are, we have programs as low as like $700, I think is what they start at for the US programs, but they're going to range probably in the $1,000 to $1,500 kind of in the US. Internationally, more like 3,000, 4,000, maybe something like that.
Okay, you mentioned the 4-month programs, but these are week-long programs that you're talking about? That run
still
at that
a range.
rate?
I mean, some of them are 6 days, some of them are 10 days, some of them are 2 weeks. There really is such a range. So, you kind of just got to figure out what you're looking for and then go to our website and just use our filters. That's the thing.
Now you have the problem. You have such a variety. Like, where do you even begin to?
I say the Cheesecake Factory problem. The Cheesecake Factory problem. You open the menu and there's too many. No, at the Cheesecake Factory, you look at the menu. They have everything on their menu, and it's like, where do I even begin? So, go to our website, roadscholar.org, and we have a Find a Trip tool. So it's at the very top left of the screen. The first thing you'll see. If you click on that, we have great filters. You can filter by price range, destination, what you want to learn about, budget. You can filter by all different types of things. So that helps kind of get you down to,
you're on your own to figure out where you're going to go, or do you have travel agents or advisors that will help you?
Yeah, we have advisors that you're certainly welcome to call in, and they can kind of listen to what you're looking for and make some suggestions. Or if you have questions about a specific destination, they can answer questions for you. We have a great call center. I was based in our headquarters were in Boston until the pandemic, and now we're fully remote. So, but most of our advisors and staff are from the U.S. or North America.
It makes sense that you can be anywhere in the world while you're working, right?
Exactly.
You probably need to. I think I want your job.
It gives the rest of us flexibility to travel more too. So if we want to go, even before the pandemic, I went and worked from Ireland for a month, and I just worked US hours, and I, worked during the week, and then I just lived in Ireland. So yeah,
wonderful.
It's great.
What age group is the Rhodes Scholar for?
Yeah, so we have always been all about older adults. So that's over 50 is what we say. As you said in the introduction, boomers and beyond is what we like to say. But we're starting to get to the point where Gen Xers are in our age range as well. So that doesn't really fit quite as much anymore. But yeah, over 50, the average age is 72. But that's really an average because we have people in their 50s and we have people in their 90s. So,
is it a mix of couples or singles, or how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. A mix of couples and singles. 30% of our travelers every year are solo travelers. And 85% of those solo travelers are women. So most of our solo travelers are women. And we actually did a study this year. I had been hearing anecdotally that there were a lot of our solo travelers that were actually married women who were leaving their husbands at home because they didn't want to travel. And I thought, wow, that's so interesting and also kind of empowering and amazing that they're not letting these guys hold them back. So I did a study on it, and we found that at least 60% of our solo travelers are married and
Wow.
leaving their spouses at home to travel, which I just think is so fascinating.
I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in a 55 plus community, and they were leaving on a cruise in a few days, and it was a women's cruise, and half the women were married and half the women weren't. So, maybe it's because of their ability to, health-wise, to be able to, sustain that travel.
We did
rigors. Is it rigorous to go on these tours?
Sure. So, let me say first that when we did the survey, we asked the people who travel without their spouses, why don't your spouses travel with you? And the number one reason was they don't want to travel. They're just not interested in it. Which that's what I was expecting. Maybe it's health reasons. Maybe their husbands aren't retired yet and they don't have enough time. And, a fair number of people chose reasons like that, or they have a dog and they need to stay home, so they split up. Maybe they just have different interests and want to travel, like their husband wants to go on a golf trip and they want to go do something else. So those were all fair number of answers as well. But the number one reason was their husbands just didn't want to travel. So my next study that I want to dig into is, why don't these guys want to travel? Why are women so much more interested in travel and so much more adventurous? I just think that's, I want to know more. So I'm intrigued, and I'm probably going to do another study this year to delve into it a little bit more.
We were the generation of women who got liberated. So this is forging new frontiers and liberation, I guess. You can, if you want to travel alone, you can. And
and I think that
doesn't make it mean anything.
It really is a mark of the demographic that we're serving, that shift. 2/3 of our participants at this point are boomers. And not only are boomer women just more independent and adventurous, but I think we're just at a time in the world and society that, these women are allowed to travel by themselves. And, it's not completely unheard of for a woman to leave her husband at home and travel. And
maybe after 50 years of marriage, you need a break.
Exactly.
you need a vacation from each other. Who knows?
And that's what we're hearing is fondness makes the heart grow fonder. And if they can go off and have their separate adventures and then they come together, they got something to talk about again,
Yay.
So exactly.
Now, you also have an ambassador program where people can volunteer. So one of the things people like to do in their retirement is travel, for sure, but they also like to give back and volunteer, and you have that opportunity. Is that correct?
Yes. So we have about 150 ambassadors right now, and there's lots of different things that they do, but primarily at this point, they go out into their communities. And they just help us spread the word about Road Scholar. They go to their local libraries, or they organize their hiking group together, and they do a presentation about Road Scholar just because they want to help us spread the word and get more people to know about Road Scholar because they love it so much. And they'll go to a local senior expo, and they'll exhibit at a table and talk about Road Scholar. And then we're also actually bringing on a new ambassador dashboard tool that's going to allow us to use our participants and our ambassadors more in a digital way to help us spread the word on social media and Facebook. So that's just something that we're just onboarding right now, which is really exciting.
And do ambassadors get a benefit in terms of discounts with travel, or what do they get for their participation?
Exactly. The more that they participate and the more presentations they do, they can earn vouchers to use on programs moving forward.
Wow, that sounds like a good PR program to me. Everybody benefits. You can be a hostess at a theater, or you could be an ambassador for Road Scholar. Either way, you get some benefits out of giving back to others.
Yeah. And we'll hear of our participants doing this. They don't even know about our ambassador program. And all of a sudden we hear someone's doing a presentation at their local library. I'll see it in a newspaper come up or something like that. And so people are just doing this because they love Road Scholar and they genuinely just want to share their adventures. They want to share pictures from their trips, and, they want other people to have the same amazing experiences that they're having. So.
That's really wonderful. What else should we talk about? How about packing? People go on these trips and then they have to lug the luggage, or do you have any you've done enough traveling to be able to tell us when you do travel what you should keep in mind in terms of packing? How do you pack for 4 months? How do you pack for a week? What's your secret hacks on packing?
Yeah. Well, I can speak from my own experience. I also can say that we have a really amazing Facebook group called the Women of Road Scholar, and it's over 20,000 people at this point. And these are the things they're talking about in that group: is what should I pack for this trip? What should I pack for that trip? What are your packing tips? And so, overwhelmingly from them and my own experience, the number one thing I can say is try to pack light. I know it's difficult. You may not know what you're going to need, but the biggest thing is pack layers, especially if you don't know what the weather is going to be, so that you can pack lighter. You can kind of mix and match. You can just put on layers if you need them. And, you always want some waterproof layers. You want waterproof shoes and a waterproof raincoat for sure. I don't like using an umbrella when I'm traveling. I'd rather have a really, really good waterproof raincoat that has a great
Like a poncho?
hood. Yeah, or a poncho or something like that. I don't like using an umbrella. I feel like it just gets in the way too much, and you're coming in and out of places. It just really gets in the way. So those are two, some really big things I would say. It's just easier, especially we hear this from our older participants. It's easier to pack light and to be able to handle your luggage by yourself and not rely on other people. So that's definitely my number one tip.
Okay, so for all those folks out there who love the prospect of learning and exploring and crossing things off your bucket list, don't miss the opportunity to pack your bags, join with other future friends on a Road Scholar adventure. That's ROAD, Road Scholar. And you may be flying, you may be on boats, you may be hiking. One way or the other, you're getting out there. So look for Road Scholar at www.roadscholar.org and check one more thing off that bucket list. Well, I am going to go home and do that right now. I'm so inspired. Thank you for being with us, Kelsey.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we have time for today. So let's wrap things up with a request that you go to our website, www.decluttering55plus.com, and click on the Let's Connect button. Share your thoughts, insights, and tell us the lessons you've learned. If you're facing challenges or celebrating triumphs on your decluttering journey, we want to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know you're part of our community by rating and reviewing us from wherever you're listening from today. And don't forget, invite your friends and family, young and old, to tune in too. Let's include them in the conversation. The more, the merrier. Thanks for being with us today. And until next time, this is Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Bassoff, wishing you a clutter-free day.